Hi guys, this is Mike, and a couple of weeks ago I uploaded a shootout between 5 different rock/metal guitars. And out of that bunch, I really fell in love with the ESP LTD EC-1000, and so I kept it. In my opinion, this guitar offers awesome playability and great quality of build at a very fair price. There was really only one tiny thing that I didn't like about that guitar, and that was the color of its maple top. On pictures on the internet it looked much darker, and my exemplar had a slight greenish hue to it. That was my main complaint, but there were one or two other minor things as well, which we will talk about later. So I ordered a second exemplar of the same guitar from the same seller to at least see a second one and to have a choice. And when it arrived, I was quite happy because it looked much cooler than exemplar number 1. I guess you can't really see it in this shot, but exemplar number 2 is a tiny little bit darker, does not have that greenish hue to it, plus I like the grain or the texture of the maple top much more. There is this really cool area underneath the tailpiece that almost looks like a heart, or if you turn it around, like something else. If you are an adult, you will understand what I'm talking about. Anyway, so I took a closer look of this newly acquired guitar and started to notice a couple of strange things. There are a couple of differences between these guitars. Can you tell what they are? Take a good look. Do you see something? I guess you do, right? Well, difference number 1 is the pickups. Since it's the same model, both of these guitars come loaded with a Seymour Duncan 59 neck pickup and a Seymour Duncan JB bridge pickup. So far, so good. But while the pickups on guitar number 1 feature the classic look, a shiny black cover with white lettering, guitar number 2 has matte black pickups with dark grey lettering. It's the same look as, for example, the Mark Holcomb Alpha and Omega pickups, and I really think that look fits this guitar perfectly. What is strange though is, I checked Seymour Duncan's homepage and there is neither a 59 nor a JB available in that color combination. So I guess this must be a special production that is only available for guitar builders. But I really dig that look, so no complaints there. The next thing I noticed, and something that was one of the minor complaints I was talking about earlier, on guitar number 1 the pickup selector switch was nickel colored. I know, it's a tiny little thing, but I thought that was quite sloppy. They put black hardware on that whole guitar, black tuners, black pots, black tailpieces, but then there is this nickel pickup selector switch there. My OCD couldn't stop complaining about that. So imagine my ecstatic joy when I discovered on guitar number 2 that same selector switch was black. How cool is that? But now I was wondering why those differences existed in the first place, and I turned those guitars around and discovered guitar number 1 was actually made in Korea, while guitar number 2 was made in Indonesia. You don't have to be a genius to realize what happened here. Sometime in the last 2 years, ESP decided to move the production of this LTD EC-1000 model, the Piezo model, from the expensive Korean facilities to the cheaper Indonesian facilities. And I guess in doing so, they also remedied a couple of things, like the pickup covers and the color of the selector switch. It would be great if this video ended here. But unfortunately, as you can imagine, when you move production from a high-wage country to a low-wage country, things can stay the same or they can get worse. And unfortunately, in my case, a couple of things got worse. For example, check out the bindings on the Korean LTD. They are flawless. On the Indonesian one, not so much. You can see small mistakes and errors all over the place. The fret edges on the Korean one are really nicely rounded, no sharp edge is to be seen. On the Indonesian one, however, starting at the 14th, 15th fret, we can tell that whoever rounded those edges went home early and forgot to continue the next day. Oh, here, my biggest gripe. Take a look at this beautiful saddle, property of the Korean LTD. And now look at this abomination. This saddle was butchered. Thankfully, the sound of these two guitars is exactly the same. I won't give you samples of that. If you want to hear this guitar in action though, I already did 2 videos featuring it, so you can check the sound out there. One last thing I have to mention is the weight of these guitars. The Indonesian one weighs 3.85 kg, while the Korean one is lighter at approximately 3.65 kg. So we have 200 grams of difference. I don't know what that means. I guess the wood is denser on the Indonesian one, but that's just an educated guess. Anyways, so now, of course I had to choose. Pick the guitar with the nicer bindings and slightly better overall quality of build, or the guitar that visually I liked way more. To quote my man John Quinones, what would you do?
The TV show.
You gotta be kidding me.
The good thing is that from a technical standpoint, these guitars are exactly the same. The locking tuners are the same, the pots and switches feel sturdy on both of these guitars, the neck feels the same, the playability is the same, the twang and the sustain are exactly the same. So there are no differences when it comes to the actual important parts. So what to do? Ultimately, I had to think about the figure of speech we have here. It says, das Auge isst mit, which literally means the eye eats too, and figuratively, that, well, basically it means that you can have the best tasting meal in the world, but if it looks terrible, or if it's not presented in a nice way, no one will like it, because the eye eats too, right?
Okay.
Oh my god. What in the hell is that?
And that's why in the end I decided to stick with the Indonesian one. It looks so much better to me than the Korean one, and I always get this bolt of joy when I pick it up and see that nice maple top. This is just me though, and I guess a sane person would pick the exemplar with the better quality of build. Guys, if you have an ESP LTD EC-1000, let us know in the comment section. Where is your guitar from? What do you think about the quality of build? Do you have errors in the bindings as I do? Do you have black or silver hardware? Write it down in the comment section, like and subscribe if you haven't already. It was great making this video and I hope you had an equally fun time in watching it. See you next time, bye.